How much should you be making to move to Dubai, and how much does the process of moving to Dubai actually cost? In this video, I'm gonna break both of those questions down in more detail than in any other video on YouTube. Because as someone who has lived in Dubai for 1.5 years, and as someone who now helps other people move there, I can tell you that answering those questions is actually slightly more complicated than you might think. But by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how much you need to be making to move to Dubai, how much the process of moving to Dubai actually costs, because believe me, you actually need quite a bit more money than you might think to actually go through the process of moving there, because there's a lot of hidden costs and things like that you might not expect. And you'll also know how much you should be making to make sense to move to Dubai, because what you need and when it makes sense to move to Dubai are actually two slightly different numbers, and I will explain why later. But before we get into that, let's talk about just the process of moving to Dubai. How much do you actually need to have accessible to you to be able to move there? Now, there's two possible cases here. Number one is that you're moving here for a job, like you have a job offer at a UAE company. This is a much simpler case because your company will actually take care of the process of getting your visa. They will sponsor your visa, things like this. So the cost for you is actually going to be a lot lower. It might be actually very, very low. But let's talk about the other case where, let's say you're coming here to set up a company like I did. Now, there's two ways for you to set up a company in Dubai. One is the do-it-yourself, where essentially you're talking to the government or the free zones directly, and you're essentially dealing with them directly, paying the government fees directly and things like this. This is going to be technically the cheapest option. The cost can be as little as $6,000 to $7,000 if you're going with a proper free zone. And by the way, you should be going with a proper free zone. Don't try to cheap out, go with the cheapest option, because you're going to end up in problems later on. But what you need to consider here is that you need to be very on it, and you need to do a lot of research. Now, I went through this path, and I believe I probably spent like 100 or 200 hours just researching everything to make sure I'm doing everything correctly. And despite of that, I still made mistakes that ended up costing me like $1,000, $2,000 down the line. But having done that myself, I wouldn't actually recommend you do it yourself unless you're willing to spend all of that time doing the research yourself. What I would recommend you do is use a reputable agency that will help you do this for you. Now, there's two things to look out for here. Number one, again, you don't want to go with the cheapest option. There's going to be a ton of agencies online that are going to advertise like, oh, set up a Dubai company for just $1,000. First of all, that's either going to be a complete scam, or they're going to use the cheapest possible services everywhere that is going to lead you to have problems later on. Maybe you can't open a bank account for your company, but you also don't want to overpay. There's going to be a lot of agencies that are going to try to charge you $25,000 for the same thing that really should only cost like maybe 10 or 15,000 or something like this. Now, if you want a recommendation of someone who's going to give you a really good service, who's to be perfect English, that's going to apply to you instantly for all your questions, and that absolutely knows what they're doing, then I can recommend the agency that I'm partnered with down below. What they offer is a free 45-minute consultation where they can walk you through the entire process, tell how everything is going to work. You can see if you trust them, if you like them. They will understand your business. They will be able to tell you exactly what is the right option for you. And the fee that they charge is honestly very, very low for the type of service that they offer. I think it's the best value in the market. So if you want to use them, you can book that free consultation down below. But other than the cost of setting up your visa and your company, there's going to be some other money that you want to have available to you when you arrive in the UAE. First of all, it's obviously going to be your airfare. Then you're going to have your deposits for your credit cards. If you want to open up a credit card as a self-employed person, usually you'll have to put up a deposit on the bank to essentially act as collateral for the credit limit that they're going to give you. Then the other big expense is going to be your first rent payment. Now, the way it works in the UAE is that often, however long you book your apartment for, they're going to want you to pay in as few number of payments as possible. I rented my first apartment for 3 months, and I paid the entire 3 months plus the security deposit all up front. So that's another like a big chunk of money that you're going to want to have available to you. Now, for the grand total that you're going to want to have available to you is obviously going to depend widely, but you want to have at least $15,000 to $20,000 if you're coming here to set it up yourself. But if you're coming with a job, maybe less than 5,000 or something like that is going to take care, because your company is likely to take care of a lot of these expenses for you. Now, let's talk about actually living in Dubai. How much does it actually cost to live in Dubai? Now, for this one, it's actually difficult to give one number of this is how much you need to live in Dubai, because the thing about Dubai is that it's slightly different to a lot of perhaps like Western cities that you might be used to, as in that there's a very wide range for the kind of money that you can spend. You could get an apartment for as little as $1,000 a month, or you could spend as high as $50,000 a month for some penthouse apartment or like a villa in the Palm or something like that. Now, I made a full breakdown on the different budget levels based on the different areas that you live in, like what kinds of areas areas you have access to for the different cost of living. So I'll leave that video down below in the description. So I don't want to repeat too much here, but just to summarize this for you, if you're willing to live in some of the less nice areas that are still going to be safe, that are still going to be reasonably nice, then you can spend as little as perhaps $2,000 a month, or even less than that, to live in areas like Dara, like Jumeirah Village Circle, things like this. But realistically, if you're coming from, let's say, a major Western city and you're looking for the kind of lifestyle where you have a nice one-bedroom apartment in a nice area, you like eating out quite a lot, and you want to have like a comfortable lifestyle in a good area in Dubai, you're probably looking at least $3,000, probably touching $4,000-$5,000 a month. That's something that can really give you a good, comfortable life in Dubai. And obviously, again, you could spend a lot more than that. A lot of people, they'll spend crazy amounts of money. And because in Dubai, you have 0% income tax, that means that as long as you make, let's say, $5,000 a month, you could very feasibly move to Dubai and live a comfortable life. But there is a slight caveat to this, because while you could live in Dubai on that amount of money, what you really should be asking yourself is, should you? Is it your best option at that income level? And this is where we get to the last part of this video, which is, at what income level does it make sense to move to Dubai? Because the thing is, there's two things that you want to consider here. The first thing is, let's say you're moving out of Europe. Let's say you're moving out of France or Germany. As much as on this channel I shit quite a lot on those countries, and like with the taxes that you pay there, you're not really getting much, and the healthcare is terrible and all of that, there is still something to be said that if you're on quite a low income, you're probably not paying that much in tax anyway yet at that income level, yet you still get free healthcare, you get free education for your kids, you get all this infrastructure that the taxes get you, but you're not really paying for it yet. The thing is, if you go to Dubai, you have a 0% income tax. What that means is that while the infrastructure there is amazing, everything works well, you have to kind of pay for everything. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for your own healthcare, you're gonna have to pay for the schools of your kids and things like this. So if you're at that kind of level, $5,000 a month or less, then while you could move to Dubai, you should ask yourself, does it make sense? The other thing to consider is that, let's say you have a location independent income like I do, like I recommend all of you try to build that kind of income, then you also want to consider the opportunity cost of where else could you go around the world, because there's a ton of amazing locations in the world you can live for very cheap at a very high quality of life. So let's say you make $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month. You could exist in Dubai, you could live there, and you'd be safe, you'd have access to the city, everything like this. But what I would argue is that at that income level, you could have a much higher quality of life going somewhere like Thailand, where I'm actually in right now. I'm traveling around Asia right now, and so many locations around here. They're also safe, they're pretty clean, you have amazing food, you have very low cost of living. And the thing is that that income level, the 0% tax isn't really such a big benefit yet, because at that income level, wherever you are, you aren't really paying that much tax yet anyway. So with that said, for me, I would say that it makes sense to move to Dubai once your earnings start to go to around 7, 8, 9, especially $10,000 a month and above. Because at that income level, the tax savings from your 0% tax in Dubai are really going to start to add up. And the sort of benefits that you're losing out on by perhaps leaving a country in Europe are going to be very easy and very cheap, relatively speaking, to replace with the tax savings that you have in Dubai. And obviously in this, it's all about where do you want to be. Presumably, if you're watching this video, Dubai is the kind of place where you'd want to be. So you're considering when it makes sense and things like this. So it's always going to depend also on how badly do you want to be in Dubai. If Dubai is your absolute dream city and it's the only place you want to be, then of course, as low as $3,000-$4,000 a month, you could very feasibly live there. But I would just say that at those income levels, you should really look into other places where you might be able to get a lot more for your money. And it's only once your income starts to push like $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month, where those tax savings are really gonna make Dubai like the best obvious option for you. And overall, the big message here, the big point here, is to always think about not just where you could get a better life, but where you could get the best life. So you wanna look at the entire world, look at what each place offers, and like look at what makes sense for you and your income level and your preferences, and choose the best place for you, not just a better place. Again, if you're looking to move to Dubai, if you're convinced that yes, I make enough money, I really want to go there, it makes a lot of sense for you, then I highly recommend that you book that free consultation down below with my business bosses, because they can help you go through the entire process. With that said, if you are interested in moving to Dubai and you want to understand what the process entails, what it's like, how much it's going to cost, then you can watch this video right here. I think it's the most detailed video on the internet about how how to move to Dubai. So make sure you watch that video before you start the process so you can understand what it takes. And again, if you need help, you can book that free content in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.